Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. It is markets in the morning. Let's go. Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is the blockchain backer bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. Welcome to Markets in the Morning. Today is Thursday, December 28th, 2023. This is Markets in the Morning, where we take a look at the price action of the cryptocurrency market, including the Bitcoin price chart and the altcoin market. Take a look over there at the stock market as it gets set to open in 3 minutes from right now, along with taking a peek over there at the US dollar currency index, or the DXY, along with precious metals like gold and silver. As we get ready to get started today, we'll take a peek, of course, over there at any type of financial news and any type of crypto news that seems to be relevant or important, or just whatever the headlines happen to be for the day. But let's go ahead and jump right in. Can you believe it? It's December 28th, which means there's only today and tomorrow left of the trading year for the stock market. So the stock market will come to its yearly close tomorrow. And wow, 2023 in the books. So, I write a newsletter over here, but I had put out a newsletter at the end of 2022, kind of looking into 2023 and kind of like recapping what 2022 was like. I put this out on December 30th of 2022 and we ended the year last year. And I was reading through it this morning because I'm getting ready to write my last newsletter of 2023. And kind of going through that. And I think we may actually go through that newsletter in Markets in the Morning to kind of reflect on what 2023 really was. And it's, when we go through it, there's 365 days. I come on here, I do markets. We did Markets in the Morning like 200 times. There's like 200 videos, and it's a lot of content in between. But it's all just kind of that same messaging of what 2023 was kind of expected to be. It was expected to be a complicated year in regards to that. It would be the ravageness of 2022 was over, and that 2023 would be a year of like more Wyckoff accumulation, base building, and then 3 to 4 months of excitement. And it's really, and that's what was all written throughout the newsletter. And it's really exactly what we had happen here in 2023. That it was really just most of the year was the base building, forming out the Wyckoff accumulation, and then 3 months of rockstar action here to close out the year and wrap up 2023. So I think we'll go through that. And it's just nice to kind of reflect on that. Just because 2022 was so rough, and when we were looking towards 2023, it was that look like the rough year is behind us. Now it's going to be kind of the tough year of like pushing forward through that and turning the ship back around, turning the boat around, and then eventually getting it to shift back up. And that's what we got here in 2023, and it's been a good year. And prices just keep moving up, and there's not not a whole lot to say outside of we just keep shifting up as we're getting further and further into the retracement levels, and that's just kind of how it goes with that and the stock market. And I'm reflecting on everything in here too, like thinking of like this Bitcoin ETF, like the Bitcoin, if it gets approved on January 10th, which all the Bitcoiners are forecasting, just the location of where it's getting approved, it's just kind of like, it's a crazy thing. So, it's going to be fun tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll really focus on, what the outlook was for 2023 and then what we ended up getting in 2023. And of course, we kind of talk all about 2024, and that's kind of what my last like 3 videos have really been looking forward, forward outlook. And of course, that's going to be writing about and talking about a lot of the things that we saw happen here in 2023 and what that looks like heading into 2024 as we anticipate, while rate cuts may not be coming there in January, the further down we go, it looks like they are coming down the pike. 86% probability we even get them there in March, which is 2 meetings away. So very, very significant change to what we had in 2022. If you remember in 2022, like when we were finishing up the year, it was like 75 basis points, 75 basis points, 75, 50, 75. And then we get into 2023 and they signaled that they were just going to do a bunch of like 25ers, right? And that's where we ended up getting several 25 basis point rate hikes. And then as we head into 2024, it's anticipated that the pause will eventually turn into cutting. So the outlook and the difference in this market heading into the new year, of course, is very different than what the torture was of 2022. And 2023 did end up playing as expected. That, you know, the damage was done of 2022, the complicated accumulation, reversal structure, and then a couple of months of excitement here in 2023 was really the anticipation, which we ended up getting. So we'll really go through that tomorrow. I was thinking about making a video on it, but I was like, let's just do it in the markets in the morning. We'll go through all of it because it'll be the last markets in the morning of the year as well. So it's our last time to kind of hang out in 2023 before we head into 2024. So, all right. Sorry, I'm trying to stay focused here. I see the super chats coming in. Thank you very much. All right, there we go. All right, so let's dive into what we're doing today. Let's take a look at the market. Bitcoin, 42,783 as we get kicked off in here. Not a whole lot of change, right? It's obviously been ranging since December 4th and 5th in here. Had that big breakup in there and 40,000, 41, 42. This was the day that I announced over there on Twitter. I was going to start taking some off the table for Bitcoin. And sure enough, it has just paused ever since then. But still, things are still looking okay. If you caught yesterday's video, I gave the nice scary gloom and doom. If you haven't watched the video, just go watch it. Yeah, we're talking about this, right? If this ends up being our case, these are just things we got. For me, I have to be keeping my eyes open for with that stock market looking like the way it is as we are rampaging up here in the stock market. And my thoughts have been that Bitcoin is going into retracement rather than what most people are anticipating full-blown bull run. But 2 months ago, they were predicting Doomtown, right? This market is bipolar. The retail crowd is extremely bipolar. But of course, now we're going to all-time highs, whereas 2 months ago, we were going to go back down to 12K. But yeah, so anyway, these are the things that I've been watching for. These are the things I've been talking. Like this is the whole long term. This is like the Ethereum scenario that we've pointed to a lot over time. Like this is just how Ethereum really played out as well as it did the crash retrace 4.236 extension, bounced from right here, ran back up into these levels, and then eventually Doomtown. But of course, watch the video. My goal is not to scare you to death and tell you Doomtown. Like this is an exciting time in the market, right? This is a time period where a lot of euphoria comes in. This is where a lot of excitement happens. And that's when we typically do end up getting periods like this, right? These don't just show up. Where, you run from $10 billion to almost $80 billion. They don't show up in just in the middle of just nothing going on. They're coming in market peaks, excitement, excessive euphoria, excessive risk taking. Everybody's a bull. Everybody's capitulated on any bear ideas, and they just realize if I don't buy this market, I'm getting left behind. Those always come at the ends. It's always the excitement at the end. And that's kind of what the idea of this stuff is that, we're reaching that point where you get that excessiveness, and we're reaching that point where we get that excessiveness. So, all right, watch yesterday's video. I'm not going to go into too much detail in that today. It's been a good year. Let's just say it's been a good year. As the stock market does open, looks like we do have indexes positive. You got the Dow Jones up 52 points. You got the S&P up 8 points. You got the NASDAQ up 37 points. So up about 0.15 to 0.2% for the indexes. Looking over here at the stocks, you got Tesla leading with Meta and Apple. Not very much though, about 2/3% to 0.5%. Losers this morning are Coinbase, Roblox, and ARK. So there you go. I was just reading on there. ARK is selling off they have sold all of their GBTC. Let's look at GBTC. All right. Look at that. They got right at that thing, right? Imagine that. That's where they sell it all at. How many times have we talked about that on Bitcoin? That's the level of this thing, right? That's where the 702 retracement is on Bitcoin's market cap. Hold on. Right up in here. But look, let's go to CoinTrader. Sorry, I'm pulling up on the other screen. I'm just sitting here silent with 1,000 people watching. Sorry about that. There we go. Right. So they're selling right here. Right. Where's GBTC? Here it is. That's that thing right there. Let's put on the 4-hour time frame. What do you think the chances are? Cathie Wood and company, I'll bail on it. All right in there. GBTC. Right in there. Right, because GBTC has been running really hard. It's been running harder than Bitcoin. So Cathie Wood and company and ARK have dumped all of their GBTC right here. Don't worry, guys. The Bitcoin ETF is going to send it to the absolute moon. Don't worry. They've also been selling a lot of their Coinbase, which I'm going to be selling mine soon too. Coinbase was one of those ones that we got on the lows. We're now nearing targets. Pretty much, I'm just waiting for the new year. I'm just waiting for new year, new tax year, capital gains. I'm already in long-term capital gains, but I want to just get it into the new year and wait till 2024 to go ahead and let go of it. But we're there. We've gotten into the area of course, in 2022 and 2023, you get called a dingus for considering this. But as we get in here, everybody buys it all together. Retail has just made this trade incredibly crowded. And Cathie Wood and company have been escaping that. Excuse me, guys. I don't know what's going on with the cough, but whatever. I got one. All right. There you go. Bitcoin, 42,782. Still moving along here, still shuffling along in here. Others, it's finally getting to near that second retracement level in there. The 0.382, we're getting close, not quite, but getting close. See, hold on, let me move that down just a little bit. Very close getting in there. Thoughts are still we have more room to go. There's got to be liquidations along the way to get there. I saw something about funding rates right now. Funding rates are negative, which means, of course, you got a bunch of retailators who are longing the market on leverage right now. They're going to get wiped out. They're going to lose everything at some point. That's what happens to margin traders. They end up getting it. They end up getting absolutely smashed and sloshed and destroyed. But either way, expect that to come along the way. If you think this thing's going to go up in a straight line without big sloshes down, they can definitely happen. Just even in these uptrends right in here, this one right here, going from $41 billion back down to $27 billion. And that's just a baby one. And that's 31% happening in there. My thoughts are at a minimum, at some point. So the higher we go, likely the bigger the correction will end up being. That this level probably has to be tested again at some point, around $165 billion. Right now, from where we're at currently at this exact point, that's 22%. But, very likely we could just keep going higher and higher to where it actually becomes a bigger animal of happening in there. And like we saw with other examples, things like XRP and stuff, it got all the way up here before that ends up happening. So it's very possible that could end up being the occurrence in there. But just, to think that we're going to keep going up for forever without a correction, be prepared for them. They're going to come. You are living in a fantasy to think they don't. Even this thing, we're so spoiled. And I talked about that in yesterday's video, how spoiled we have been. That even you look in here, and this one, how many corrections do you have in there? There's a negative 35% correction. There's a negative 24% correction. There's a negative 20. There's a negative 35. And that's all in an uptrend. Where is a single one of those in here, right? The biggest one we've had was in our sign of strength phase, which was only 14. So just keep it in mind. They'll come eventually, and they're probably going to catch a lot of people by surprise, maybe even me. But still, I think we're working our way back up here. The big thing is going to be what ends up happening from here. That's the big million bajillion dollar question. What does happen after the retracement levels happening in here? What happens with each altcoin? What's going to, what does the scenario in the picture look like in here? What does it look like over there for the stock market at that time? So, okay. I'm going to see if there's anything really big to cover today. I don't think there's really anything big to cover today. We'll take a look at news. Michael Saylor's bought stuff. Who cares? You have no read on that, right? I hope everybody does know that. Michael Saylor buying does not mean anything. At the very bottom, he was only buying $10 million at a time. I think that was just for show. And then now he's buying $600 million at these heights. Remember, his biggest buy ever was at the peak of the market, right? He made little buys before the run up. So he always reflects. You always notice, though, Michael Saylor, when he's posting over there on Twitter, he says, performance of Bitcoin since MicroStrategy incorporated the Bitcoin strategy. Never says how MicroStrategy's performance is. It's just how Bitcoin has performed since MicroStrategy implemented the Bitcoin strategy. Because when they implemented, they were making small buys, right? They ran up the whole bull run with small buys and then put $1 billion in at the very, very peak of the market. They bought $1 billion. It was their biggest buy ever. And then at the bottom of the market, they made their smallest buys ever. So there's no read on there. Don't ever think that there's anything you can read from that. Holy cow. I'm coughing up a storm over here, guys. I may have caught something from some family members over the Christmas break. Okay, DXY 100.96. I don't have gold up on the screen. How's gold doing today? It's $2,074. It's down $2. Silver is down 9 cents today. No big things going on in here. Definitely, DXY has gotten even lower than I thought. I expected this. But we've even made another step down even lower than what I expected in here, right? With crashing structure, you set one low, then you set another low, and then we set another one. So we'll see what comes of that at this point. XRP got up to 64 cents today. I see Mr. Huber over there on Twitter constantly mocking the 61 cent healthy retest. It's just bullish selling. It's in a range. The range just still continues to go on, trying to derive a whole lot out of a range until price action is able to do something. We just sit here waiting on a range to eventually choose a direction to happen in here. So otherwise, not a lot. I would say what has happened today is we're actually mostly green this morning. It looks like as the stock market has geared up to open in the hour leading up to the stock market, we've watched more red really start to enter into the cryptocurrency market. And now that the stock market is open, we're even flipping more red. So we're decently green leading into it. All of these indexes or all of these market caps were in the green. Others was above 220. I don't remember what these were, but obviously they were all in the green. All the total 2, total 3, others were all in the green prior to the market opening. Looks like we're starting to slip a little bit into the red now that stocks have gotten started. But it has been like an epic end of year rally over here for the stock market as we get ready to reach out to potentially a 4.236. And it's just going to be an amazing year ahead of us. This year was really anticipated to just be these types of accumulation things like we see over here on Coinbase, like we saw over there on others. I think we're going to have just a wild time because if you think about our last couple of years, how would you really define them? 2022 just down, 2023 base building reversal, right? 2021 up and topping, right? But 2020 was a wild one. 2020 was, and I don't think this is our case in here, accumulating at the bottom, but we had multiple things happen within that year, right? There was a lot of big events that happened in the year. It was an election year, so 2024 will be an election year again. And you reflect back on when we were heading into 2020. So 2019 is wrapping up. What's happening? The Fed is already doing bailouts of banks in the overnight lending market. They've already started quantitative easing. They've already started rate cuts. I think, right? When was the first rate cut by the Fed? Let's put, okay, monthly. Yeah, so they're already cutting here in late 2019. And then we get to just a couple of months into 2020, and then C19 happens, right? So we're heading into an election year. We're heading into a period where we've been paused. And, this is a rally for the market. Don't be confused. This initial point right here, the market just rally into this, and then everything hits the fan. Wild year potentially ahead of us. I think, like I keep saying in my videos and I keep saying in the live streams, I think we have likely a few months of crazy action. But then, there's the potential that we just have an absolute wild year in 2024 where, like, I'm not saying we're going to have C19 again, but like where there could be crazy things that come in the market later in the year where it's like that kind of, who knows, right? And, the powers that be during the actual election years leading up to the election years, they love a bunch of chaos. They like to play the hero. Create a problem, be the hero. Save everybody, right? So we'll see. All right. That's a little doomy. So, all right, there we go, guys. That's what we're at. We're wrapping up the end of the year. It's been a good year over here in crypto. I don't see too much to say here. Obviously there's a little bit of red over here in the market, but green every day, a little bit of red. We keep marching up there in others. There's no big reversal in there. I think if we had something to say, hey, things are going to chill out really bad, it's if we saw a big fat liquidation happen in the market, which we haven't seen. Let's take a look at Bitcoin liquidations. The heat map. Wow, we've seen $208 million in liquidations in the last 24 hours. I wonder what those were. They were mixed. 114 million were long and 94 million were short. So that's not like our typical OS. It's hitting the fan type of liquidation. Okay. There you go. So we'll see if we see any type of end of year selling for people closing out their books. We'll see if we see any type of just rally to go here into the end of the year and finish the year off. Like I said, my thoughts are, when it comes to like what the market did in 2023, to reflect back on here that this is the end of December, right? So there was an opportunity to do tax loss harvesting down here at the lows. So everybody was capable to rebuy back in here. You sell and then rebuy back in here and take losses from here on paper on taxes. And so now it's been a whole year. So we're now past 1 year from this moment in here to where we have hit long-term capital gains taxes for those who held through that whole moment. And now, as we get into 2023, there is going to be the allurement to want to take some profits, to take some off the table due to being in long-term capital gains and to being in a new tax year where those taxes are not going to be due until 2025. Anybody selling today, tomorrow, the next day, Sunday, whatever you end up doing, right? Those taxes are all going to be due on April 15th of 2025. Whereas waiting until January 1st pushes those taxes being due until April 15th of 2025. So I would think due to us being beyond long-term capital gains, being into a fresh new year, and then Wall Street and the banks and the hedge funds convincing retail investors to buy here by issuing an ETF, that will give them the exit liquidity to dump onto Bitcoiners. That's my thought. So, okay. What a jerk. What an a-hole. All right. All right, there we go. Bitcoin 42,580. Still just ranging in here. A couple of them are in the green, most stuff in the red over here as the market has gotten open. It looks like the leaders of the stock market today still remain up there. You got Apple, United Health, and Meta. Losers are Coinbase, Roblox, and ARK. Yields up slightly, short duration down barely. All indexes in the green, just slightly. NASDAQ, and they're up about 0.15% for each index. And then you have metals coming back a little bit. You got gold up about 32 cents. Silver's down 4 cents. So pretty tame day out there in the market. Let's see. Where's others? How you doing? 214. So still continuing up there. No corrections. No corrections as of yet. No signs that they're going to do them yet either. I would think the first big worry zone of a real one coming in, probably that 50% to think that, we'll get back here. But, I do have to sit here and definitely think that we could revisit this area at some point. It's just very common that we do. So I know how this market reacts. Everybody gets really drugged up, and I talked about that, the dopamine that gets put in your brain when you're going up only, and then you forget what these corrections feel like, and then they feel like trash, and the extreme toxic behavior on Twitter returns. Everybody's celebrating, everybody's having a great time until that ends up happening. Then nobody's happy anymore, right? So if you don't prepare for something like that, you just, that's what ends up happening, right? As for Solana, right? We'll talk about Solana really fast. Solana, let's take you off log scale so you could see this. That's the biggest pullback that we've seen for Solana so far. Where did Solana get to, guys? No, how about we do the arrow correct way? All right. April of 2022. Right, that is where we are seeing everything really struggle at in this move up, right? And of course, you watch a lot of people scream and jealousy and of everything on Solana. This is what the Solana chart looks like. It's not like it's gone into a bull run or done anything like that. Solana just got whooped so hard, like we talked about in yesterday's live stream. There's 1,000% just to get back to April of 2022. But that was part of the allurement of the Solana trade back then. After FTX did collapse, the community was huge. I think, my personal thoughts are there is going to be another major correction in Solana, major. And, nobody cares that FTX is dumping on it anymore. You got to laugh at it, man. You got to laugh at retail. They are funny. I think there'll be a big correction that does come out of Solana, but it'll be an interesting thing to watch because, this structure, right, when this was originally ever talked about, it was talked about in relation to, it pretty much did the exact same thing Ethereum did in 2018, literally the same thing. And this is like that, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, 4.236 extension takes out the lows down in here, right? Big fat rally. But this one got carried away even more than Ethereum did back then. Let's take a look. Maybe not. I think so. So that would be like this area right here for Ethereum, right? So it didn't quite get that high, but this was the concept of the Solana trade in here, was this whole thing. So now we have to see, does Solana have a long road ahead, which it may. And I know that upsets a lot of people because 2 months ago they front ran FTX, but now they bought up here. But remember, nobody wanted to buy down here. These are just things that I try to teach on the channel. I do kind of mock that I get mocked and trash talked a whole lot, and I know a lot of you guys say ignore it, but it's important that I point it out that I'm always going to get mocked at the right time, and that's always going to end up happening. And so, you're always going to remember this. If you're doing the right thing, it doesn't feel good. It never does. If you're selling at the peak, it doesn't feel good because everybody around you thinks it's going to go higher. If you're buying at the bottom, it doesn't feel good because everybody around you thinks it's going to be going lower. And that will always be the case. So always remember that. It'll always be like that. In this game, you think that you can go into it with fundamental analysis and think that good news means that price goes up. But a lot of times the worst of news is the buy time, right? Because that's that marks the bottom, right? FTX collapsing, just unbelievable amounts of trash talking on Twitter about Solana, saying Solana was dead, and reliving in that moment. It was like, I don't think it can get any worse than this. This is probably as bad as it can possibly get. So I think I'm going to buy it because it could probably, it could probably get better. And then you have to say when things get really good, and it's like, well, can things get any better than this, right? Or are we living in optimal, wonderful land? And can things actually get any better than this? No, probably not. All right. Right. Things can't really get any worse than this. Things can't get any better than this. So I'm going to get out. Right. And that's the thing that I talk about with like Bitcoin too. It's like, can things get any better than this? If Bitcoin gets an ETF, right? Can things get any better than that? And that's where the narrative and the story building comes from. That's where people are like, well, we're going to build a story now. So what's going to happen is financial advisors are going to be compensated and paid to make sure that they sell it to retail investors, right? Why aren't they buying BITO, ProShares Bitcoin Strategy ETF? Because retail investors care about it being spot Bitcoin. A retail investor who doesn't know how to buy Bitcoin on Coinbase does not give two craps about it being spot or anything. Just give me ETF that says Bitcoin in it. Right? Real talk. So can it get any better? Right? I don't know if it can get any better. We'll see. Okay. Happy Thursday, everybody. I feel like I need to just hop in the chat because I'm doing rambling. All right. Well, let's check out the news. Startup bubble fueled by Fed's cheap money policy finally bursts in 2023. A firm stock quintupled this year, beating all tech peers on buy now, pay later boom. S&P 500 futures are little changes, index inches closer to all-time high. Global bond carnival sets stage for record 2 months. Bridgewater CEO's past office romance led to favoritism claims. U.S. initial jobless claims rise to 218,000 more than estimated. That's still right in normal realms. What's interesting though? Like think about it. Remember, guys, we were like, hey, whenever financial media is telling retail investors to buy Bitcoin, to watch out. Remember, we were like the day like I publicly announced on Twitter that I was selling some of my Bitcoin. All right, we got above $40,000. It was the very next day Bloomberg put on the big thing about $42,000 Bitcoin right on here, and that same day putting out the $500,000 price target for Bitcoin on here, and Bitcoin is still at $42,000 right now. Still at 42, and that was 3 weeks ago. Over 3 weeks ago. That Bloomberg did that, and they're seeing Cathie Wood dump her GBTC, right? Barry Silbert steps down. It's an interesting time. And of course, retail investors gobbled it up that they were on the front page of Bloomberg. And I even posted on it. It's like, we've all seen this movie before, but it's like nobody remembers how the movie ends. Everybody thinks the movie is different. So it's like we've all watched it 3 times. We know how the movie goes. When these guys are telling us to buy, and they're telling the crowd, hey, Bitcoin, $1 million, it's usually a warning. And it's very interesting to observe it now over 3 weeks later to say, hey, we're still at $42,000. But altcoins have been crushing it. I think we should show that really fast. Altcoins have finally been trying to catch up. There you go. Okay, moving on. Bloomberg, what you got? Apple resumes sale of watches after appeals court lifts U.S. ban. Half of Red Sea container ship fleet avoids rout after attacks. Kathy Wood goes big into ProShares Bitcoin, dumps Grayscale. Okay, so she's moving into ProShares Bitcoin. I guess maybe... I think that's a little concerning. Like, there's something maybe wrong with Grayscale, you guys. When Barry Silbert has stepped down, Kathy's dumped all of her GBTC. If you're a big GBTC holder, I'm sure there's other Bitcoin exposure, but there do seem to be a couple of warning signs about Grayscale. If you are a big Grayscale person, just a little observation that I'm seeing happening. I don't have any inside information. Maybe you could dig in more if you're a big Grayscale person, but pay attention to that, I think. All right, looking over there. Revenge of Ethereum. Is Ethereum's 9% jump the start of something big? So what did we see happen yesterday? We saw that as Solana topped, Solana hit, the April levels. You saw Ethereum go and step up again. So that another sign of Solana's peak happening in there. To see that it has the big, massive knockback happening there, and the money rotated where it rotated into Ethereum. So peak buyers of Solana. Hopefully you didn't sell your Ethereum to do it. All right, Bitcoin bulls and bears prepare for end of year $10 billion Bitcoin's options expiry. So we must have options expiring there for Bitcoin. 10 best long reads about crypto in 2023. Fortnite GTA 6 might create a functional metaverse before any crypto nerds. Marathon Digital becomes most traded stock of the day. 327 million in volume. Spot Bitcoin ETF could result in millions of unbacked Bitcoin, analyst says. I could see that. Yep. So, yeah. So, what about the negative aspect of it? Like, how much money of people who would otherwise be interested in Bitcoin will be buying things that they perceive to be Bitcoin, and instead of that capital flowing into actually buying Bitcoin and increasing the spot price, how much of that is going to be diluted and given to the banks, right? Here, I want to buy $100 of this ETF share that you have. Of that, $50 of it is actually Bitcoin, and $50 of it the bank's going to be taking away, right? It's $100 that could have gone into Bitcoin, but instead only $50 of it does. So we'll see. I think that's a good point. 5 reasons why a spot Bitcoin ETF approval could send Bitcoin price above 100K. Mt. Gox reportedly paid some creditors twice. We already saw that yesterday. Dev enables haters to reject Ordinal's Scothby's 2023 digital art sale. Okay, Hong Kong. Okay. CoinDesk, last one. Here we go. A record $11 billion crypto options expiry looms as Bitcoin shows little volatility. The expiry is Deribit's largest so far, and a record of almost $5 billion of options will expire in the money. Solana's scorching rally shows Ethereum has a serious competitor. I doubt it. Mind you, I'm not salty about Solana. I rode Solana. I'm telling you, I doubt it. Price go up, nothing changes sentiment like price. Price go down, nothing changes sentiment like price. Be warned. All right, there we go. I think that's it. So, kind of a slow day over here in the market in regards to news, anything like that. 83% chance will be paused at the end of January. 16% will have a cut. Mind you, this is the highest we've seen in years. The highest probability of a cut than we've seen in years. I don't think that's going to happen in January. It's probably going to still be another pause, but they may be signaling to us, hey, at the next meeting, we're going to be cutting. They may say that because there was a drastic change in that last one from Jerome Powell. I don't think we're going to cut in the next one. But again, I'm just going to go based on whatever this thing says. But it seems unlikely. But there you go. Okay, I think I was in the chat, but then did I ever get into the chat? I just rambled. 40 minutes in. Let's get this thing going. This is all over the place. PH Team Hub, before the chat started, before the stream even started, gifted 5 BCB memberships. Brother, thank you very much. David, member for 6 months, says Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to the 702 crew. We have the best community. It's all thanks to you, BCB. Absolute legend. Here's to 2024. Hey, man, I'm just a pleb who talks on the microphone. It's all you guys in the chat. Thank you, David. Chris De Leon, member for 5 months, says thank you, BCB, for everything. Happy thanks. Wait, what? Happy Thursday. Was that Happy Thanksgiving? Thank you. Deladova, is the wave E contracting triangle on XRP forming? We talked about this yesterday. If it is, it's very low. It's not where I would have expected it to happen. So I'm still going to remain indifferent right in here. Typically, we do pull down and backtest in here, which would not be what a contracting triangle would be. So I'm kind of leaving this range alone for right now, not really wanting to give a strong opinion on this range right now. And I've tried to remain consistent with that. There's no trend. This is range building. The thing I'm going to be looking for is either range breaks or looking really for like a back test of 54.2 cents in that area. And again, a wick can take you down in there, but holding the day right up there on top of the daily supports happening in here. This question was asked yesterday. We talked about that. Typically, a wave E is going to be a contracting triangle, but typically they're going to happen from a higher location, like up in here. And we are just not doing that. I guess what happens if you take this off log scale? Maybe, but I don't know. The problem with it is if we would have had one, I would have expected it to happen up here at about $1, probably ranging between like 80 cents and $1.30 is where I would expect a contracting triangle to happen at. So I'm not certain on that one. I'm going to kind of leave that one alone until that range makes a decision, and then we'll take a decisive thing on that, right? I mean, we spent a year and a half talking about this, right? This is Wyckoff escape, right? Now, like, to sit here and say, hey, we're not going to backtest the top of the Wyckoff. It'd be bizarre not to. So, I don't want to like say, all right, spending a year and a half in Wyckoff and then be like, hey, okay, now this is contracting triangle, wait, and then it like goes back and down test here, be like, you know nothing, PCP, you dummy. It's just, I'm gonna let this one play for a minute. This is Wyckoff accumulation, escaping from the range. It's still very possible to backtest that, and I'm not willing to sit here and say I have even 50% confidence of this. It's just this is a difficult one. I think it would be very likely that could happen. But if it is a contracting triangle and it breaks up, it won't surprise me either. But this one, I'm not really willing to touch it with a 10-foot pole on an opinion on that particular range. And I think I've tried to be consistent with that for over a month. Look, you guys are wanting info on this. Ranges are chaotic. And if anything, that's been the right take to have. That's been kind of my take for the last month, that look, we're in a range. Ranges by design are chaotic. And what has it been? Range, no trend, chaotic. Wicks all over the place, flat. And that's been what my thought has been. And I don't see anything changing from that yet until some type of break happens. And I don't see anything telling me it's going to happen today or tomorrow or the next day or in 48 days from now. So I'm just kind of giving it a minute to breathe. Craig Tilbury, hey BCB, glad to hear you and your family had a great Christmas. If Bitcoin only does a retrace and tops out at 52K, do you expect the majority of altcoins to only do retracements with a small handful setting new all-time highs? Thanks. I don't, Craig. First of all, Craig, thank you very much. It was very generous. I don't have the answer for you, buddy. We're gonna have to watch and see how it goes at the time. If we get, first of all, in 2021, okay. Anybody who has not done this study and understands this, then you're living in a false. I'm going to tell you this right now. If you're walking into this market with $1,000, anybody, and you're thinking you're going to walk out of here with life-changing money, you're not. I'm telling you right now, you're not. It's not going to happen. You own 2,000 XRP. You're going to have life-changing wealth at the end of this. You're not. I'm just telling you right now. Okay. It's not going to happen. In 2021, only 22% of assets from the top 100 did anything meaningful. Okay, like from December 10th, right, all the way to the all-time high, the average return of the top 100 was 699%, with only 22% of coins doing anything meaningful or like breaking out into all-time highs. 22%. Far different from 90% in 2017, right? So we have to say that's a different market. And that's what the whole things on like the newsletters have been for like the last months. That's why the whole developer data stuff has been looked into, shared with you. Some of you guys were jackasses saying, I don't care about this. Why do you make this kind of compound? Look, if you don't want to pay attention to it, you're going to be holding 2,000 XRP thinking the Fed's going to buy it back from you for $50,000. It's not going to happen. So, and Craig, I'm not being like this towards you. Your question is good. Your question needs to be answered honestly. It does not seem, if we're going to take a look at how 2021 behaved and know that only 22% of assets went into all-time highs from the top 100, and that was also the same for the top 30, right? The top 30, only 20% had meaningful moves, meaningful big runs. Who's to say it's going to be any different this time, right? So if it's the way to place the bets, the way I've decided to place the bets, then the majority of bets is based on data that did better than that in 2021, which is what all those newsletters are about and the things I've shared with you guys on the channel. If you're only going to look at one thing only, look at the developer data, right? That's where if you're going to throw your darts at 20 assets, you're only going to pick 20 assets, and I'm going to throw my darts at them, and I'm going to throw however many darts I want to throw. I want to own X amount of dart things. The developer data list was the one to be throwing your darts at. That's just where it was. And even then, you still didn't get a 100% hit rate. Even then, I think it was like 65% or maybe 70%, which is still far better than market average, right? So I have to assume it's probably unlikely that everything is going to unlikely that everything is going to take off, because we did not see that in 2021, and the focus has been, well, how do we increase the odds on ones that will? And still, we don't know the answer of how it will be. We don't know the answer of what the market will look like. If that's the top of the stock market, gentlemen and lady, maybe two ladies. So, you know, we're all going into this together in a different environment. And is Bitcoin's ETF going to get released at the 4.236 extension of the Dow Jones? It might. But, you know, you would have to expect, if we see similarities to 2021, the answer would be no. That it wouldn't be the majority, right? It was only 22% of the top 100 in 2021. So the answer to say, will the majority only do retracements? Maybe. But like, will the majority go blasting off into all-time highs based on 2021's data? No, not at all. It was only 22% then. So if you have built your entire list based on shopping on CoinMarketCap's top 20, top 30, if you've built your entire list based on what is being shilled to you on Twitter, and you haven't done any type of research, like study, like how the market behaved and what was the best odds for yourself to try to increase that, instead of being 22%, get it closer to 40%, 50, 60%. You know, it's the definition of insanity, doing the same thing and expecting a different result. There are things out there. If you haven't watched the video where I brought sentiment onto the channel, you guys, to understand development activity, those are the coins to watch. Right? And nothing is going to have a 100% hit rate. Be prepared for that. That's what we learned. No portfolio will have a 100% hit rate. Even in the case where we built the best one, right? So the market, the average returns when we did this. So we did a case study, and we did the top 20, and we do it from CoinMarketCap, and we start on December 10th to the peak of the bull market. So like we run from here. Here's how this thing is done. We start right there. December 10th. Before it goes nuts, and we say, all right, how do we do? From this moment, the top 20 of the cryptocurrency market on CoinMarketCap, the average return is 742%. Average return to their literal peaks. So if you are able to sell each individual asset, all 20, at their respective peaks, average return was 742% during that moment, right? Is your $1,000 investment, not you, Craig. I'm just being a jerk today. $1,000 investment, life-changing wealth, is a 742%. You're going to turn your $1,000 into $8,400. Is that life-changing wealth? No, right? At least I would think it's not. But maybe the guy living in a box who's just been saving his change on the corner of the street forever, and he finally mustered up $1,000, but still lives underneath a box behind an alley in New York City next to the guy doing fentanyl. Maybe for him it's different. He's going to stay in a hotel for a year. I don't know. But that would be life-changing. But anyway, if you focused on the developer activity coins, right, the top 20 by developer activity, the average return was over 2,000%. To be precise, it was 2,001%. Just do it. Buying the top 20 by market cap versus buying the top 20 by development activity. 2,000% versus 742%. 3 times better, right? Just focusing on that. And so in all these newsletters, of course, I've been telling you, we're talking about, okay, now what about circulating supply inflation? What about percentage drawdowns? And incorporating all those things to try to make it into what about 3,000% rather than 742%? What about 3,500%? And so even in the ultimate scenario, I started this by saying you're not going to get 100% hit rate because it's just not going to happen. Even in the scenario we build in here, we do build the ultimate portfolio and from 2020 and 2021. And it does include Solana. It does include Dogecoin, and it does include Mana. So out of the top 100 assets by market cap, and it includes Cardano, but your big boys from that particular date, from December 10th, right here, out of the whole crypto market, your big boys from this moment were Solana, Dogecoin, and Mana, or Decentraland. And even by incorporating that data, those would have gotten included into the portfolio on that date on December 10th. But you still would have had some losers in there. You still would have had, no matter what, no matter what the data you do, you're still not going to get the 100% hit rate. You're going to have a couple of losers that still get in there. But the idea is to say, well, I'm throwing my darts at the ones that on average are going to do better. So do I think that we're going to have a similar market to what we had in 2021 where it's very selective? I'd have to assume so. It'd be crazy not to think we're not at this point, right? Because the market changed so drastically. It's not a 2017 market where 9 out of 10 coins go booming. It was only 2 out of 10 in 2021. And who's to say it'll even be 2 out of 10 here? It might not be, right? It might be less than that. And I hope that your strategy isn't to listen to a content creator out there, guys, who's just feeding you whatever you want to hear to suck up the hopium up your nose for whatever it is, right? It's just I'm data based, man. Give me the data. Let's go based on data, and that's that. So that was a long ramble. I think I'm done. Yeah. So yeah, it's unlikely. It's unlikely based on what we saw in the market and the research that has been done for several months. It seems unlikely that everything will go, and maybe very selective. Mally 86. In yesterday's video, you said we can have a wild 4 months. During this time, can we see Bitcoin retrace level, do back test, and try to shoot up to new all-time highs in just 4 months? I mean, okay, sure. I mean, I don't know. I don't. That's not the vision in the video that I put out. It'd still just be kind of creeping around up here near the 40s. and then trying to hit that 702 and then tumbling over. I do not see an all-time high for Bitcoin. If it gets one, I didn't see it. Plain as day, guys. If we get a new all-time high for Bitcoin, it was beyond my skill set to see that because I just can't see it. And that is not the general consensus out there in the market. The general consensus, I mean, amongst pros, hedge funds, people I respect, all-time high. I don't see it. I just can't see it. The only way I see all-time high for Bitcoin is this. If that happened, right? If Bitcoin falls back down here, hangs out above $30,000, and then just ranges like this and just does the whole 2017 stuff, and we start some brand new super cycle or something like that, that would be the only way I could see it. Because what Bitcoin has done is Bitcoin has completed 3 separate super cycles. And I saw JB Estrada, saw you ask that in the beginning. I can't. I've made so many videos on this. Even my course is all about super cycles. The first course is all about super cycles. But this was the completion of a super cycle. And we even have a completed super cycle correction happening in here for Bitcoin. Right? I mean, that's what has happened all throughout here, is that this has been the exact same corrections of what super cycles do. And that's why we talk about that on BLX. That this is how super cycle recoveries have happened. And so the only way that I see all-time high happening is if Bitcoin is starting a whole new super cycle all over again. And what that means, right? So super cycle, midpoint of a super cycle, and then that's the completion of a super cycle. And I'm not gonna spend my whole life talking about why is that I'm gonna be spending my whole life talking about it. I know it. So why is that not? Of course, I didn't get the whole thing. Let's do this. I tweeted at TradingView to hope that they actually fix this. Right, so this is the mid recovery of a super cycle, just drawn out really long, right? Because here, this is what we do, right? Same corrections end up happening in here. We've gone through that a million times on here. This is a correction in midway point of a super cycle. Then that's wave. This is called the wave 4 contracting triangle, right? There's your wave E right in there, right? There's your wave E right in there. And then we go off, and then we do the full extension happening in here. So what happens in recoveries after super cycles? We can clearly see it, that we go back and we backtest the previous support, we hold it, consolidate, right? And that's what we talked about a lot this year, right? We talked a whole lot about this stuff. Look, if you're going to be doing a recovery after a super cycle, which it has been, these are just the things we do. So if there's going to be any all-time high talk of Bitcoin, this would be the only way I could see it happening. And it would just mean long period before we ever end up getting there. I know a lot of people and I look at the Dow and I say, well, dang, man, how are we going to get there? I don't see enough time available for Bitcoin to be able to do that, right? That, it's able to just continue marching along and taking its time. And because what we also notice too is that these cycles are taking longer and longer, right? They're not happening faster and faster and faster. They're taking longer and longer. Right. There's super cycle 1. There's super cycle 2. There's super cycle 3. Right? They're not happening faster and faster. So if we assume that it's going to be even longer, right? The only case I could see is one for all-time high. The only scenario I can come up with in my own mind is that we start a whole new super cycle, and that would require pulling back, but it also require holding the supports. And I don't see that in the Dow, right? I don't see the Dow Jones and stock market supporting that idea. The way it would support that idea is if I'm just wrong and this thing just keeps on going, right? If this thing just keeps on plowing through there, well then, we create something completely different. Otherwise, the only way I see it for Bitcoin is to do what it always has done in recoveries after super cycles. And now for the person who's just hearing what they want to hear, right? I don't find this likely. There's going to be somebody in the live stream say, hey, do you remember yesterday when you said you think that we're going to be going and starting a new series? No, I did not say that. I did not say that. Take the hopium out of your earballs. This is the only way I could see a new all-time high happening for Bitcoin, is if it still has a whole lot more consolidating that it has to do. That's why when I sold my Bitcoin, right? So like if you read the post that when I sold my Bitcoin, I believe it was December 5th. That date may be wrong. Here, I can tell you the date. It was this day right here, December 4th. In the post, I say, even in the most bullish of scenarios for Bitcoin, I still imagine that we would see a $30,000 to $32,000 Bitcoin. So the most bullish of scenarios for Bitcoin is just what we just looked at, the recovery after the super cycle, and this. Right, like we have seen in recoveries after super cycles. This is the most bullish scenario I could even see happening for Bitcoin, which is, of course, not ETF. Right? I mean, this is not what the ETFers say, but this is the most thing. And right, we could still come up higher. Right, we could still get up to that $50,000 level, which is a 702 retracement. This is where Grayscale is. This is where Cathie Wood's dumping all over GBTC. And, get up higher before and something like that happens. But this would be the most bullish scenario that I could come up with. I cannot for the life of me see it. I can't see it. All-time high, YOLO, crazy. I just don't see it. And I think, the thing to really be watching out for is if that's the case right there. So, people always try to ask me questions and try to get me to somehow twist the words to get me to say we can go to all-time high. Like, just accept the things that I say on the channel. Like, these are the things that I think. No matter how it gets twisted or the narratives or anything like that, I don't see it. It's very clear. I just don't see the all-time high. Melissa Upham. Member for 5 months. Melissa, one of the rare unicorn women who watch the channel. Can't wait to see you do 2024 with you. Can't wait to do 2024 with you, BCB, and all you amazing people. Let's go, rocket ship. Thank you very much, Melissa. Member for 5 months. Hot Tub Brian, aka HTB. Oh, he has acronymed himself. Thank you for the phenomenal year, my man. You keep us grounded, and we appreciate you and the long hours you put in for all of us. PDW, thanks you for sharing Mr. Backer with us. Thank you, Hot Tub. Thank you, HTB. Daniel, hello, sir. May I ask what's your take on Coinbase? I know you do own some. Looks like a good area for profit take. Thanks again for all you do. I truly appreciate all the data percent. I don't know if you asked this question. You probably asked this question prior. Holy cow, these are from right when the stream started. These were an hour ago, dude. Daniel, wow. Okay, you guys came out the gate swinging, and I'm very late to it. I've already answered that question, right? Yeah, it's at profit take level. I'm just kind of crossing my fingers that it price will hold into the new year, and then I'm going to be selling. Otherwise, it's there. JB Heavy Equipment Services, BCB. After being here since 2020, I have zero doubt you'll take the W in the BCB versus cred analysis. Thank you for always having our back. I don't ever like to be pinned against people in particular. And to be completely fair, I cheer for cred. I hope he's right. I'll take the big L on my forehead. No problem in this scenario. No problem in this scenario. And I don't ever want to be pinned against people in general. Everybody's doing their best. Everybody's fighting their own fight. And it's always really frustrating when other analysts stoop to the level of trying to talk trash about another analyst, because every single one of us are fighting our own fight. We all have the trolls. We have the stalkers. We have the people who are literally obsessed with us. We're all dealing with the same crap from some seriously unstable people. And the last thing we need is somebody sending more of them your way, right? So I'm not in the business of being pinned against other people by name in any way, and I wish Kurt the best, and I hope that he is correct. So there you go. Thank you, JB. Member for 7 months. Jonas Frugalis says, you asked for a different word than bipolar. It's psychiatry. If the person goes from black to white and again, we define him as borderline. No, there's another word. There's another word I'm looking for. And maybe I don't know my psychology terms. Like, if you asked me, like, to tell you what's the difference between, like, a sociopath or a... I don't even know other words. I just don't know them. I don't know. I don't know. So yeah, but there's got to be a word for somebody who can emote. There's got to be a term for somebody who can completely flip and flop emotionally really quickly. Schizophrenic? Is that it? Is that it? Donkey shot? Maybe. Might be schizophrenic. Everybody, yeah, no, it's bipolar. Okay, so it's just bipolar. Well, bipolar is manic depressive, right? They go from like a flip flopper. It's borderline. Oh, I don't know. Okay, borderline. The term is called Gary Gensler. Narcissist? Yeah, I don't even know narcissist, right? I don't even know what that means. All right. I got to keep going. Gino D'Amelio, BCB, can you please look at FE? More room to run. What is FE? Oh, it's grayscale. Well, see, FE is already there. It's in April, right? It's in May of 2022. I don't know if I'd be playing too heavily in these grayscale things right now. I don't know why people are bailing on them leading up to whatever's happening, and then with Barry Silbert stepping down. I just don't have enough understanding of the grayscale products. Evan Cassie says, I did get salty when you sold your Bitcoin. It felt kind of random. And you sold. No, it didn't. It wasn't random. We got back into April pricing, bro. We got to over 50% retracement. We're getting into retracement levels. And Euphoria, and you can just like the timing of it is always really funny too. It's almost like I have the pinpoint nailing on the timing, because then it was the next day that Bloomberg started headlining and drawing retail in for 42K. Call it a intuition, call it what it is, to be able to see these things and smell euphoria in the market, right? Ben James says BCB sold Bitcoin at 42K, right? I actually started in the 40s. I've sold in 43s, 42s, 44s, all throughout here. Probably average is about 42. But Gino, I'm not sure, man. I don't know about the grayscale products, man. Philip, man, gifted a BCB membership. Thank you very much, Philip. Pat gifted 10 memberships. Thank you very much, Pat. These are almost like an hour ago. Thanks, Pat. Staying up late, brother. Linton Dell, and he's probably already sleeping. Like, you made me wait an hour to say something. Lintondale, can you look into the Nifty 50 index and what your thoughts on it hitting the 4.236 extension from 2008 and has it continued? Look, I think any of the other things are going to keep going up until this whole thing comes crumbling down all at the same time. It's probably still going to keep going up. What is Nifty 50? Right? Or is that like Europe or something? I don't even know. New York Stock Exchange. Oh, come on. NSE. So this one's already above. So I don't even know what's in this index. Hey, Pat, you're up. No worries, BCV. Thanks, brother. Yeah, so I don't know what's in this. I'm not sure what to think of it. This thing's just straight line up. Where is this? Where is the financial crisis? Right here? What is the Nifty 50? Isn't this European? I don't even know. No one's answering. 2,000 people. Nobody's like saying, hey, you're a dingus. How do you not know what the Nifty 50 is? I don't feel that dumb yet. India. Okay, India. I don't know. I mean, it's a different. They may be. They could be in an emerging market. The United States is definitely not an emerging market. I guess it's pretty swifty. It's a camera lens. The NASDAQ 100. I don't know what you want to look at with NASDAQ. Load. Where are you? All right, I got to keep going. Thank you, Linton. John trades at the Fed. Okay, I don't know what this is. I'm going to check to see what the first coin was that you tried to get me to bring up here because I don't know what this is. If it's in top 100, maybe. It's not in top 100. And it's crashing and burning. Let me see what your question is. Let me read his question really quick. His question is, this particular coin and QNT and Matic chart predict what most alts will do after Wyckoff breakout and retrades. Can you look at one of those charts, please? Well, Matic hasn't broken out yet, right? Matic's still in Wyckoff, right? Spring. Sign of strength, still trying to get its way out. Right? But look, where did it stop at in here, right? April of 2022. I don't think we've gotten out of here yet. We need signs of first movers to be able to get out of that April of 2022 level, and just nobody has done it yet. D&D Guru says, I've been seeing a bunch of hype on X saying that the debt clock shows the financial system change is in progress, so the M2 money supply is shrinking and U.S. Treasury dollars increases. Can you give us the truth on this issue? Thank you, brother. It's probably one dude who owns that website. It's just one guy. And like he's a doomer, right? And he's created a debt clock. And he makes it look like silver should be worth $5,000 an ounce and gold should be worth $50,000 an ounce. And people talk about it all the time, and he gets a lot of traffic for it, right? Some dude making a killing just with some dumb thing, right? I used to like going on there and just checking on data, but it's just so glorified. You know what I mean? There are YouTubers who just like, let's go check on it today to see what secrets it has in store for us. It's like some 55-year-old dude living in his mom's basement. Who creates the website probably. John Trades again asked about the same coins again. They aren't out of Wyckoff, buddy. Like those ones in particular aren't out. XP Market, several have gotten out, but those ones in particular have not. XP Market member for 9 months says, cheers to the end of an amazing year. Blockchain backer in the 702 crew. May your trades be as triumphant as the chart-topping melody. Wishing you all a fearlessly bullish new year. Yep. 2023 was a great year. Yes, XRP holders, even you are up 100% in 2023. Unless if you traded yourself out. Then you're not. But everybody should be up. Like your portfolio on average should be definitely up over 100% in 2023. It was a good year. I think others is up over 200% in 2023. So good year. Thank you, XP Market. Larry Chisholm. Hey, BCB, are you concerned that XRP might miss the boat? Oh, God. If we're at the tail end of this run, especially with the Dow Jones Industrial Average getting closer to 4.236, time is almost up, and we'll be lucky if XRP reaches 70 cents. What are your thoughts? This happens every time, brother. We'll see. At the end of 2023, it was the last one to go, and it did it in 23 days. So you could sit there and be panicked all the way to the very last second. Definitely possible. I don't see any signs saying it's not okay, but the things that, again, I tried to point this out yesterday, all the whining and moaning about Solana from XRP community members, I tried to show you XRP did not do what Solana did. Solana fell 97%, and where did Solana go back to? The April of 2022 price level. That's where XRP is. So XRP isn't underperforming the market. XRP has gotten all the way back up to this level and had one of the most shallow drawdowns of 2022 at 85.5%. That puts it in the top 10 drawdowns out of the top 100. Believe it or not, XRP, one of the best performers in 2022. Can you believe it? In top 10 best performers of 2022. And that's why you don't see some 1,000% rise off the floor, because in order for that to have happened for XRP, the price would have needed to fall all the way to 5 cents. Instead, we held up here. If we fell all the way to 5 cents, well, where would we need to go back to? April, that'd be right here, right? We just didn't have that. We had a stronger hold this year. So it's not like XRP is in any way lagging behind the market right now, which most people, they just don't look at it this way and understand that. Where is the market? The market's like, here we are, right? Where's others? Where's total 2, right? So here is April of 2022, way up here for total 2. Here's April of 2022 for others. Here's April of 2022 for total 3, right? This is still way down here. It hasn't even gotten beyond here yet for the broader market. Whereas XRP, here's April of 2022. We're already up here. It just doesn't feel like it because you're watching Solana rally after doing a 97% crash. In order for Solana to get back here, it took 1,000% rise for it to get back to April of 2022. So is XRP lagging? No. Is Bitcoin beyond here? No. Is Ethereum beyond here? No. Is the altcoin market caps beyond here? No. Right? Ethereum isn't even back to the April of 2022 levels. So it's not like anything has happened in here yet where this market has taken off and XRP is not participating. It's just, you just kind of have to look at the charts and understand where it actually is. But should you have to wait to the very last second? Possibly. Wouldn't be unusual. But you could see this type of questioning happening lots and lots and lots more. And you see that kind of whining on Twitter a lot right now. Like, why isn't it going yet? Time's almost up. It's not happening, right? It can historically happen at the very last second and happen in a matter of 23 days. We've seen it happen before, over 1,000% in 23 days. And that was the extent of the bull run. Very, very possible. And like somebody asked me yesterday, in which I'm never going to give you the answer for, but somebody says, "Hey, I'm going to sell my Solana now that it's gotten all the way back up here. Should I rotate it into XRP right now?" And it's like, well, you're not doing any net difference there by doing that rotation. It's like, wait, what? No, my Solana just went up 1,000%. Like rotating into XRP, like it hasn't taken off yet. It's a good thing to do, right? And it's like, well, no, like Solana got back to April of 2022. That's where XRP already is. It's not a net difference between the two right now because XRP didn't have that big fall and it's gotten to stay back up in here. So it's not lagging. Hey, BCB. Wait, hold on. Hey, BCB, here's 2 rats in case Bitcoin hits 500K. Have a great new year, brother. Thanks for everything you do. P.S. Shout out to the Lurker Army. Thank you. Joe, I don't know what rats must be something in some special culture. Thank you. Jay, hey, BCB, how much did you sell your Solana for? I sold a bunch of it at like $55. All of it was bought at 10. Andy Philpott gifted 10 BCB memberships. Thank you so much, Andy. Right, but and I made it that public announcement. So just go look for when I publicly stated it. I posted over there on Twitter when I sold half of it. Andy Philpott, 10 BCB memberships. Thank you, brother. Benedictus, thank you very much. BCB, call me Degen, but I am in crypto on and off since 2015. I only hold XRP and accumulating it all these years. Yeah. That's crazy. Mathematically speaking, it just seems insane to do that with any one asset. It doesn't really make logical sense to do that with any one asset. Prince Ben says, Solana is strong. Well, it was strong, and that was expected. But we'll see about it anymore. It just hit April of 2022. Seems unlikely. Ionut Cermic. Hey, BCB, can you please review EGLD Multiverse? I'm not going to be able to pull that up today, brother. I get that. We have 2,000 people in here. Somebody makes a $2 super chat and asks to review an altcoin. Unfortunately, I just save your money, guys. Don't do it. Don't do it. And I don't really know much about EGLD Multiverse X. I mean, I know it's like at number 16 or 17 in top development activity, but I just don't know much about it. And the chart doesn't have anything different going on with it than the rest of the market does. Eric Martin, 702 emoji, please, and thank you. Yeah, those have been made. Somebody made me emojis too, and like I've been really bad about getting those up, so I'll work on it. Thank you, Eric, with the 702 donation. Gary Benchler, the word you're looking for is I don't know what that word is. I don't think so. It's got to be a word everybody knows. If I don't even know that word, I can't use that word. Ambivalent. HTV. Oh, he changed it to HTV. Hot Tub Brian. And he gifted 10 BCB memberships. Thank you, Hot Tub Brian, or HTB. RP says, how would you choose exit locations for ICP? I'd be going based off the market cap because that dealt with massive inflation. So I'm using fibs on the market cap. Which you can find market caps, guys. By the way, like I always tell you guys, go to like the CoinTrader Pro, but some of them are available over here on TradingView, but not all of them are. But like if you just type in the letters ICP, there it is right there, market cap ICP. You can do that for the ADA. There it is right at the top. The first thing when you type in Bitcoin, it's not there, but it's way down over here, right? But not all assets are going to have it. But some of them you can find here on TradingView. And I do even have another list that I've built over here, and it's just market caps. And so that's why I like whenever we're looking at all these price charts and stuff, but off camera and off stream, I do spend 30 minutes a day going through the market caps and stuff. HTB said, let's go, y'all. Hit the like button. Thank you very much. Hot Tub Brian. Mickle, Mickle says, or Mike L says, I think the word you're looking for is fickle. No, fickle just means you're kind of like waffly a little bit. Like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. No, it's from being, oh my gosh, everything is great, to, oh no, everything is bad. It is so bad. Wait, it is great. Oh, I hate you. Oh, I love you. That, whatever that is. Jason says, do you think Bitcoin will at least reach the all-time high? No bull run after the halving this time? Question mark? I'm confused. Sorry, bro. Just watch a video, man. Pat, shout out to BT for his funny one-liners. Night to this amazing crew. By the time you read this, I'll be asleep. Thanks, big fella, for everything, and night. No, Pat, I'm all caught up, so I got you live, bud. And I'm sure that's for Blockchain Trucker for his funny one-liners. Good night to this amazing crew. By the time you read this, I'll be asleep. Thanks, big fella, for everything, and good night. Nope, I'm here. I got you, Pat. We're good. Yeah, bipolar. It seems to be bipolar is just the simple answer. So, all right, there we go. Bitcoin, $42,500. We're an hour and a half into this stream. What a doozy. Started off real slow. I think I even said a profanity on this stream. Yeah. That happened. But okay. We're going to wrap it up now. Yeah. Have a wonderful day. Manic. Well, not manic, manic and depressive, and that's bipolar, right? Too much coffee. I've had no coffee. None. So, all right, erratic, maybe erratic. That might be a good one. Carlos Eduardo. Hey, BCB, would like to know your thoughts about Avalanche. Thanks in advance. It's a top developer activity coin. It's one of the coins that got carried away really early, so it's one of those ones that have already like really run right up. Kind of like with Solana. It's kind of like the two coins that like were the initial runners. Be interesting to see if they have a cool off period where others become the new hype. That's just how this market works too. There's always your leaders, then there's like your mid pack and your laggards. Everybody just dumps. The really inexperienced people will dump whatever they have and just really focus on the leaders. And that's a lot of the stuff you see with the XRP community right now. So focus on Solana. It's like, why focus on Solana? Why don't you focus on like one of the other ones? Everybody's eyes always just get laser focused on that leader and say, why? I'm not in it. Why? And, you know, that's the risk if you go put all your chips into one bag, that you're not going to be the first. You won't be the first out the gates. You won't be the fastest horse right out the gates. It happens all the time. But Avalanche, early leader. The things that like deterred me about Avalanche was just the massive number of developers declining. However, with development activity, it definitely is in that top 20. I believe it's even in the top 10. I believe it's in top 10 development activity. But somehow it's staying there with only 1/3 of the developers it had a year ago. And I found that to be a little weird. But yeah, early leader. May still have some room to go. But definitely a huge move, right? I mean, what are we talking? That's why, remember this? All these people were like, Bitcoin dominance. We don't touch anything because we trust the Bitcoin dominance. You got wrecked. A whole year and a half taken back, right? Now anybody who still is like, oh, look, the Bitcoin dominance is starting to roll over. Now it's time for me to start considering buying some altcoins. Well, too late for like the leaders or the ones out the gates. Too late for a lot. Even stuff that hasn't like massively surged. Even your stuff like Cardano, right? Like you're up 150% in a month and a half, 2 months, right? So it was about catching that when it happened, catching the spring. And this is what we all talked about in here. This is when I put out that thread over there on Twitter saying that was the spring phase of the market. And sure enough, it was, because we could see it here marked on the others dominance. The market reversed here. The dominance of the others. Everything excluding the top 10 reversed here, right? So this removes all of our stable coins, removes Ethereum, Bitcoin. You can see the whole altcoin market since June. So, okay. I've gone for too long. It's always dangerous when I get in. I've been in here for an hour and a half because sometimes like it gets really unpredictable. It got dangerous earlier. I mean, it got real dangerous earlier. Okay. I'm done. I'm done. All right, guys, that's going to be it. That's going to be it. Tomorrow, we're going to go through what the outlook was like for 2023 and what we ended up getting. That's what we're going to spend the stream going through, as tomorrow will be the last markets in the morning of 2023. And then, we'll be getting ready for 2024 to roll in. There won't be a markets in the morning on January 1st, the first day of the year. As you guys know, you stay up late, you do fireworks, and then the stock market isn't even open on the 1st, right? Unless if I'm wrong, if the stock market is open. I do not think it is. Stock market holidays 2024, right? It should be closed on the brand new, on the first day of the year. Holidays, yeah, closed. Monday, January 1st. So we won't have markets in the morning on Monday. So tomorrow will be our last markets in the morning of 2023. It'll be like a year in review, what we were looking for as we were coming out of the S show of 2022, the outlook and what it would look like for 2023 and what we ended up getting. And I think you'll be... I know a lot of time elapses through that, a lot of sloshing, a lot of narratives, a lot of 12K calling happens in that time, but 2023 actually played out exactly as forecasted. And we'll show that. I'll show you guys the whole thing. So I'll show you the forecast and I'll show you what happened. So, and then we'll get ready for 2024, baby, a new year. So, all right. That's going to be it, guys. You guys could check out newsletter over here, BC Backer. What now? Blockchainbacker.substack.com. We'll be having the next newsletter will be published here in the next couple of days. It'll be kind of our 2023 recap and the outlook looking forward to 2024. And of course, this one has been really diving into those altcoins. We talked a lot about that today with the development data, circulating supply, inflation, all that stuff, building the portfolio. Somebody asked, do you think the majority will just retrace? This is kind of studying and showing you how that market behaved to have a solid foundation and how the market has behaved historically. Of course, check out bcbacker.com for 40. Oh, yeah, by the way, these are all audio recorded. So if you ever want me to read them to you in the silkiest, smoothest voice of... Over the last 3 newsletters, I've compiled data on the altcoin market covering developer activity, percentage drawdowns, and circulating supply inflation rates. That is there. That is available for you there on blockchainbacker.substack.com. And of course, if you prefer video format of things, I do have a course over here on bcbacker.com with over 40 videos, 11 hours of content. Gloriousness right at your fingertips. Access it 24 hours a day from your cell phone, even with the Teachable app. And of course, Substack, access that 24 hours a day. That is it, everybody. We're done. Tomorrow's the last one. Tomorrow's the end of 2023. And we'll all wish you a safe and happy and healthy new year. Always an opportunity to start fresh. If you need that fresh start, you reset your mind, have an optimistic outlook on life. 2020, in my opinion, 2023 was a good year. So it's not like looking back on it in 2027 where it was like, what trash. We are looking back on it and saying, hey, this was definitely better than 2022. Even really, no matter what asset you hold, it's probably been better. So, all right. Did I say 2027? Whoops. 2022, 2023, 2024. Who cares what year it is? All right, I'm done. That's it. Andy, Phil Pye, gifted a BCB membership. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you could, please like this live stream and give it a thumbs up. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice and I am not a financial advisor. But if you ever need a pick me up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember the blockchain backers got your back. Pat, thank you. HTV, thank you. And everybody else, have a good one.